All right, so it's my first video of 2016. So it's January 1st, 2016 at 10:47 p.m. And this is a topic that I have stayed away from for making videos because it's just something that I, don't like to talk about because I think it's a ridiculous argument, and I think the fact that these sentences and these words have come out of people enough that I even need to make a video is annoying. But the question posed, or the statement that I've heard a couple of times, is the notion that it is easier to be a trans woman than it is to be a trans man. So I'm just going to jump right in. First of all, no. There is no reason for trans men and trans women to be pitted against each other, and for anyone, especially a cis person, because I only hear this from cis people, is to say that one minority has it harder than another. That's like saying black people have it worse than Hispanics. It's like, we're both minorities, so why are you trying to tell me that one is worse than the other? Someone trying to say to me, oh, Rylan, like, at least you're not a trans woman because it's so much harder, or it's so much easier for you to be identified as a trans woman than it is a trans man. I can understand maybe the argument in a sense that, unfortunately, physically, in some cases, not all, but in some cases, a trans woman might be more easily identifiable than a trans man. That I do agree that it is a little bit easier for a trans guy to pass in society as a girl wearing guys' clothes than it is for a man to be wearing women's clothes. There is some uneven balance that says that women can wear men's clothing, but men can't wear women's clothing. There are plenty of butch women that choose to dress in a more masculine manner, and that isn't questioned. Which is where it comes in for me being a trans guy, that it must be easier for me to be a trans guy than a trans woman because people aren't necessarily going to pick me out of a crowd. That just completely invalidates my experience as a trans man because I go through just as much discrimination as a trans woman does. I'm only going to speak for myself. I'm not going to speak for all trans men in the world, but personally, I have experienced violence and abuse because of my gender presentation. So to tell me that what happened to me is not as serious or is not as whatever adjective than a trans woman is just complete and utter bullshit. The reason that I was sexually assaulted is because I outed myself to a stranger, and although I looked like a female, I said, no, actually I'm a guy. And then I experienced the ramifications of exposing that gender identity. Yeah, it isn't accepted for a guy to dress as a woman, but that doesn't mean that I'm not in danger and I don't go through things because of my gender identity. I get it. I get it that people are going to use the argument, yes, well, a trans woman, might be 6'2" or 6'3", or she has really big hands or really big shoes. Okay, sure, I agree that those might be identifiable traits that might give a trans woman away, but there are plenty of other trans guys that are 5'2" or 5 foot that have small hands and small feet. So again, how can you say that one minority has it worse than the other? It's just an unbalanced argument, and I think it's just really ignorant for anyone to say that, to be honest. And especially for a cis person to make that comment, it's like, you have no idea. You have no idea what it's like to be discriminated against for being the person that you are. So to tell me that another person in my community has it worse than I do, a very peaceful fuck you. I mean that with all due respect. Like, but fuck you, because what do you know? There's already enough unrest and discrimination that we have to go through as trans people. So the fact that there is even internalized unrest in the community when it comes to people viewing our community is just mind-boggling, because it's literally saying that someone has it worse than you, so it's fine to be trans. No. It's unbalanced and it's stupid, and I don't agree with the comparison at all. We all have it bad as trans people. Yes, there are positive things happening. There are laws being passed every day to protect us, but no one group has it worse than the other. So I guess I just don't understand where this came from, that trans women have it worse than trans men, because we all have it pretty bad. We are discriminated against and hated for who we are, regardless. So I don't know. People don't understand that, I don't think. Because if they did, I wouldn't be making this video.